now paying a maintenance fee of $5. If this is a savings account, how could I possibly be saving if you're taking $5? You don't want to give me up to $5. You're only giving me 0.01, 0.02%, but you want to take up to $5 because 0.01, 0.02% comes to literally a penny. Hello, my name is Mobasiniola. Welcome to my channel. So you know when you're younger, right? And you get money from relatives or birthday money and your parents hold it for you, and them holding it for you turns into you never seeing it again. I thought about that when I wanted to open up an account for my daughter when she was born, because I was getting so much money for her, and I was like, I want her to be able to keep track of this money and at least see where it's going, put it towards college or whatever it is when she gets older. So that led me on a journey to see, well, what kind of accounts are available for her? I didn't just want to keep the cash home. And I started thinking about well, there should be children's accounts that should give me interest. So I did a deep dive into finding out what kind of accounts were available for children's savings accounts that would yield a higher interest rate than, the regular savings account that I had, which was pathetic, right? So my savings account, I'm hardly pushing 1 cent, but let alone 2 cents every month. So I was like, I have to be able to offer my daughter something better. So I did a deep dive, and this led me into discovering high yield savings accounts. I was essentially originally looking at children's accounts because I figured they would be much higher than regular ones, and I saw that high yield savings accounts was even higher than children's accounts. So once I did my deep dive, I was like, all right, I think a high yield savings account is going to be better for me than the children's account. And that's what I ended up doing. I ended up going with a high yield savings account for my daughter, and then being so impressed with the interest rate that I got one for myself as well. Did you know that on average in the United States, savings accounts are garnering about a 0.42% interest rate, which is why a lot of us are seeing only 1 or 2 cents in our account. A lot of banks don't even give up to 0.4, 0.42. They actually give 0.1%, 0.2%, and that amounts to pennies, literal pennies. We put so much money into our savings accounts, not really knowing that there are other options out there for us. So I want to put you on because I got put on by my mommy deep dive, and it's really changed the game for me just even this year starting it and seeing how much more money I've been getting by using a high yield savings account that I had not seen probably in the whole time that I've had my other savings account, which was for 10 years at least. And the money that I've made this year alone with a high yield savings account, completely, it's not even a comparison. So just calling out some banks that I have banked with or currently bank with, so that we can look and do a deep dive into what their interest rates are. I had a TD savings account for a long time, and that is offering 0.02%. So not even the average of 0.4, 0.02. And I've also banked with Bank of America, and they're offering 0.01. 0.01. Could you imagine? And a lot of times in these accounts, you have to even have a minimum balance. So not only am I having a minimum balance, and if you don't have the minimum balance, sometimes you are paying a maintenance fee. What are they maintaining? Questions that need answers. And sometimes you are not paying it. It depends on the bank, but you have the maintenance fees, you have the minimum balance, and then you have the 0.01 or 0.02. What is that doing for us? Absolutely nothing. So that is why I'm encouraging everyone to transition to a high yield savings account. When I wanted to make the transition, there were a couple of things that were important to me. One, I wanted to be able to use Zelle or have a way to transition money into the account, or have ways for people to send my baby money. So I looked for a bank or a financial institution that also had a checking account or just had a relationship with Zelle, so that it can be an easy of hey, you want to send my baby money? You can Zelle at this. And that was really, really important to me just for convenience. I've had accounts before that don't have a Zelle or Zelle equivalent. And it's just been so difficult to move money around. And I didn't want the headache. I wanted it to be really easy. And I enjoy the convenience of that process. So that was something that was really important to me, which is why naturally, through all my research, even though I could have gotten a better interest rate at some other places, I settled with Capital One. And I am very happy with my choice. So much so that after opening up an account dedicated to her, I opened up an account for myself as well. And I was so excited after getting interest after a few months that completely trumped all the interest that I had gotten over years. I was encouraging everyone around me to shift and make the change. So at Capital One today, the interest rate on a savings account is 4.3%. So not the average 0.4% or not the below average 0.01%, but 4.3%. And this is much higher than the nation's average. And honestly, it is a dream to just see that interest is coming in and the account is growing every month. Now, the exciting part about this is that opening up the checking account was seamless as well. So what I did was I opened up the checking account and connected it and opened up, made sure it was connected to Zelle and made sure that was good, and then had the savings account as well, where I'm just transferring money over, sending money to the account through the checking account and then transferring over to my savings. And I have seen a lot of success with that month after month. I have no complaints thus far, and it's just been a great benefit. I've even closed other savings accounts that I've had, and I have influenced family members and friends and associates to do the same, because it got to a point where my balance was not, meeting the minimum at some of the other banks I was banking with. I'm now paying a maintenance fee of $5. If this is a savings account, how could I possibly be saving if you're taking $5? You don't want to give me up to $5. You're only giving me 0.01, 0.02%, but you want to take up to $5 because 0.01, 0.02% comes to literally a penny or 2 pennies, not even up to 5 cents. So that means if you're only getting 0.01%, which is equaling like a penny a month, if that, in a year, you haven't even made $1 on the account. But that same account, depending on the rules, you may be paying $5 a month. Like, be serious. We have to manage our money better. We have to do things that work for us better. There are options out there. So naturally, I love working with Capital One. It has been really beneficial to me, and a lot of those people that I've influenced have also reported back very exciting results. I even have one person who had a Capital One account, savings account, for a really long time, but it was not the 360. So that's another thing to point out that's really important. There's a 360 checking and a 360 savings. They have other accounts, and if you have a historical relationship with them before they offer these, you may have accounts that not necessarily benefit this, but the option is there, because I had that same person go and close the other account that they had and transfer all that money into a 360 that they opened. Okay, so just to review, the 360 savings account that Capital One offers has a 0 minimum balance, no monthly maintenance fee, and offers 4.3%. Hugely above what the national average is, which is about 0.4%, if you're able to even find that. So the high yield savings account is a huge benefit to anyone who wants to see their money grow month after month and see like, okay, I'm giving these banks my business, how is it benefiting me? And have a more mutually somewhat relationship with their banking or financial institution. Now, Capital One, of course, is not the only banking institution that offers a high yield savings account. Outside of Capital One, I have 3 other institutions that offer high yield savings accounts that have a higher percentage than the 4.3 that Capital One offers. Of course, I chose Capital One because of things that were important to me, just like having the convenience of Zelle, but these banks also offer their own versions of high yield savings accounts where you can get a little bit more bang for your buck, starting with Barclays. Barclays I don't know if anyone remembers this. Barclays used to have a relationship with Apple a few years ago. That's how I got one of my laptops, is by entering in a relationship with the Barclays Apple partnership. They're like the OG Apple card, no longer having that relationship, but that's where I know them from. Barclays, if you open a high yield savings account with them, you're getting a 4.35% interest rate month to month. Another one that's nice is Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank is another bank that I know or had a former relationship with, and I'm seeing a lot more of their physical presence coming up. I primarily knew them as an online bank, but I'm seeing them, really pushing their physical presence in brick and mortar. However, they are offering a higher rate than the 4.3s and turning over into 4.5. So you get a 4.5% with Citizens Bank. Now, another one that's offering an impressive 4.5 would be SoFi or Sophie. I'm going to say SoFi. SoFi is offering an impressive 4.5% interest rate. All three of these banks as well have a zero minimum balance, have no monthly maintenance fee, and have these impressive 4 point plus interest rates for you to collect on every month. Move your money out of those banks that are giving you 0.01, 0.02%, even 0.4, which is the average. It's like, come on, guys. Like, we got to do better. Move your money out of those banks where you're paying those monthly maintenance fee on money that you're actually trying to save, which is just a wild case. And take a look. Try out these high yield savings accounts at all these different institutions. Choose one that works for you based on your interest and see your money grow. Open up one for your child like I did, and see, maybe even if you have children's accounts, again, depending on what your needs are and how old your children are, even if you have children's accounts, there is an opportunity to transfer those children's accounts into high yield savings accounts as well. So you get a little bit more bang for your buck. I was considering Capital One for a children's account, which is what was the catalyst for all of this. And even their children's account offers over 1%. I'm not sure if it's up to 2, but it's definitely not touching 4. So that's why I thought, this is the best way to go for. And I've been happy all year. I am excited to share more things that I've been learning in my mom journey and my journey to just more financial freedom and just living life better and making my money work for me. Join, follow, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Share. It's been a good time.